Ladies and gentlemen, the end final attack. The Normans now outnumber the English. Here come the Norman knights. They're cantering. The lances come down. They're galloping. Here it comes. That is, of course, the speed at which they can move across the battlefield to deploy, to take advantage of an enemy's mistake. Now riding up towards us now with the red cloak on the white horse. Let's hear it now for possibly the villain of the hour, but nevertheless let's welcome him to his country all the way from Normandy. It is, of course, the man who will soon be your king if all goes well at 3 o'clock, Duke William of Normandy!
I am William the Conqueror.
Alright.
English heritage tell me for the role of William the Conqueror. And English heritage would a Frenchman for the role William the Conqueror.
And so what we see now here is 2 conroys, 2 subunits, 2 squadrons, if you will, of cavalry, led by Duke William of Normandy himself. So put your hands together to welcome the Duke of Normandy and his mighty Norman conroys. Duke William there, resplendent on his white horse, with his red and white shield, the red cloak indicating his... Behind him we have his half-brother, the Bishop of Bayeux, Odo. Let's have a round of applause for the holy man that is, of course, Bishop Odo, Bishop of Bayeux. He does have a crucifix around his neck. And normally a godly man, such as Bishop Odo, would not come into battle with a sharp weapon, because as a man of God, he cannot spill blood. But he is laid on a training session to encourage the men of the conroy. And look at that! Duke William's already knocked off the helmet of his half-brother. We have safe training lances here. We don't want to spill holy blood, or indeed ducal blood, just yet. But normally the Normans would have actually used sharp weapons for their training. The best kind of training is realistic training. Lancer drawing his sword and coming in now to demonstrate how best to attack another horseman with a sword and shield. These 3 not spilling blood. The man of God doesn't want to do that. He will go into battle with a club or a mace, so as not to spill Saxon blood. But of course, crushing Saxon skull.
William is a very, very beautiful soldier. A lot of charisma, yes, and good military, good soldier, good rider, good horsemanship, and it's a famous person in France and in England.
Horseman able to stay in the saddle when the horse is on 4 legs or on 2. The clash of sword on shield, and again the riders want to keep moving to horseback. Well, Duke William, I think, is having the better of this fight. He's demonstrating in front of his mounted forces how it should be done, how to ride to battle, how to ride into battle, how to use your weapons and indeed your horse against the enemy in the most effective manner possible, to kill, to maim, to disable, but ultimately defeat your foe. And as our 2 riders salute each other,
to faces after he hears of this great victory.
I'm King Harold Godwinson, the second of that name. Well, Harold and myself, we are here at Hastings because We've been invaded by Duke William, the Duke of Normandy, who believes falsely that he has a claim to the crown of England. What do you think about Harold? I don't know. I was thinking it's in two views of him, really. He has a certain romantic charm as the only English king to die fighting a foreign invader, in like ever, basically. But on the other hand, he was kind of seizing the throne himself. On good days, I think he was looking after the throne for Edgar Atheling. On bad days, I think he was seizing the throne for himself. It's difficult to decide.
Single-bladed weapon. In Saxon hands, it would almost certainly be described as a seax. And as you can see, it is a small weapon. A little bit, here they go. It's already broken down into a swirling melee. There's two distinct battles. The shield walls are broken up. They're being pushed around. The orientation was east-west. Now it's largely north-south. The combatants responding to the lie of the land and the position of their enemy. Prisoners and wounded enemy and dispatching them to avoid having to take them prisoner. So if you've got a pair of fighters in front of you, cheer side. And again, a great weapon for chopping apart a wooden shield. And as you see, our warriors go at it, literally hammer and tong, beating the shield. The splinters of wood are flying as our warriors hew and hack. You can use either end of the axe. You can use the stave as well as the head.
We were up in the north, defeating Harold Hardrada and the Norwegians and the Vikings, and we had to march down here right to face the Normans straight from that battle.
I'll take something like home and it's released to one of the picture besides. All I've got on there now is Christmas Day.
Much like the Saxon shield wall we're going to see a little bit later on, it's all about discipline. A horseman on his own is not much good. He has one rank. 3,000 horsemen will occupy much greater frontages than that of Senlac Ridge. So they probably came at the Saxons in waves. One wave, smashing home, reforming, moving out the way to allow the second punishing line to come. Starting off at the wall, progressing to the top, moving up into the canter. Pointing the swords and lances, kicking and spurring their horses to the gallop. Here they come!
Speak, man, what news?
Sir, dread news from the south. A second invasion is upon us. The Normans have landed and are ravaging the coast as we speak.
What? William the Bastard is here already? How can this be? We have just defeated the Vikings. Has God now forsaken me? Has God forsaken England itself?
Say of 3 battles. Hastings is but the most famous and the last of 3. Prior to that we have the Battle of Stamford Bridge, and prior to that we have the Battle of Fulford Gate. Those 2 battles taking place in Yorkshire against an entirely different foe, the Viking Danes.
Here he comes, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls. If your allegiance lies with the Norman conquerors and overlords, then welcome your potential.
This is the fearsome weapon of Viking warriors, as used by Saxons at 1066. Hardly any of these would have been seen in the Norman army. This was principally a Viking or Saxon weapon. Used two-handed to chop a shield to pieces. Huge crushing blows inflicted on the enemy. Shield literally chopped to pieces.
The Bayeux tapestry shows Saxon hussars with Dane axes chopping men's heads off. Believe it or not, chopping horses' heads off. Such is the power of this incredible weapon. This is not for chopping wood, this is for chopping flesh. Biting through the armour, cleaving off limbs, separating legs from your trunk, arms from your shoulders, and heads from your very neck. And whilst the Normans on their horses were a deadly weapon and new for the Saxons, as far as the Normans were concerned, the Dane axe here, wielded by the hussars, the half troops of the king and his lords, this was a weapon they had not faced either. And they were appalled by the injuries that they and their horses sustained. Imagine riding a horse, coming up against an axeman like this.
For burn our houses, slaughter our livestock, rape our women and murder our children. We stand between him and his evil ambition. We stand together. Our shield wall will never break. Men of England, stand with me until victory is ours!
To show his face, he knows this will be almost for the final time. He is almost certain to die, but he will do so with the eyes of his duke, the eyes of his countrymen upon him, as he slays the first Englishman here on the 14th of October, 1066. Ladies and gentlemen, it is a noble gesture. It's almost certainly going to be a suicidal gesture, but it's a gesture worthy of your applause. Let's hear it for he wins. And the first blow is struck. A lone Saxon champion comes out to deal with Taillefer. His horse shows his nimbleness, his agility, and above all his power. Trading blow for blow with the Saxon. Who are you going to support, ladies and gentlemen? Will it be Champion may be overwhelmed? So, more soldiers come in. They're hacking at Taillefer. If one man can't do it, maybe six can. They're surrounding him. They're hacking. They're hewing. A horseman that's not moving is a dead one. He's down. The Norman is down. And the corpse of Taillefer is hauled back into the ranks of the English army. And now William sends forth his archers to... And here comes the first volley. The archers are yet to get their aim in, largely short, but they will soon get the range. Here they come, a second deadly volley. The shield wall raising their shields above their heads to protect their heads and shoulders and faces from the deadly rain of missiles coming down on their heads. Being unleashed. The English will have to gird their loins and steady themselves. The Normans are coming. And the bowmen now cease shooting because their own infantry have come level. Here they come! Here they come! The flanks, the Norman left and right approaches. The axemen go in first to try and disrupt the Normans. But the line continues on. Contact! The left and the right are in contact. The whole Saxon shield wall is now engaged. And the deadly business of hacking, hewing, thrusting, and slaying your foeman begins. Will this be the knockout blow that William wants? His first attack, brushing aside English resistance. Or will the English line hold steady? Well, I think the Normans Normans are possibly getting the worst of it. The Saxon shield wall is actually advancing 1 or 2 tentative steps to press home their assault. But they must remain together, shoulder to shoulder. The shield wall must not break. If the shield wall stays, England is safe. When the shield wall breaks, that will be the end. And here in the centre, the Normans are withdrawing. Ladies and gentlemen, the Normans are retreating. It's a bloody, chaotic affair, attempting to disengage and retreat down the hill without sustaining more casualties. But William and his men must do it, because he has one more weapon in his arsenal. Look, ladies and gentlemen, at the bottom of the hill, who has he not yet thrown into the action? Who has he not yet thrown into the fray? The might of the Norman cavalry. Engage and retreat down the hill. The cavalry needs space to charge, but when it does, by golly, little will be able to stand in its way. Little will be able to stop it. Well, the English line is held firm. So if you're cheering or rooting for the English, cheer now and send the Normans back the way they came. Cheer now and send them back downhill. Here they come. The massed ranks of the Norman knights at the walk, at the trot. They're getting closer. Ladies and gentlemen, the crisis is upon us. Here come the Norman knights. They're cantering. The lances come down. They're galloping. Here it comes. Incredibly, the shield wall has resisted the initial charge, the initial impetus, and now they're skirmishing with the Saxon shield wall, but they have not broken it. The shield wall stands firm. The Normans can throw at it, archers, infantry, cavalry, and yet England still stands firm. Bretons from Brittany crash home as well, and once again battle is engaged across the whole of the Saxon shield wall. The Franco-Flemish on the Norman right, they're almost on the shield wall as well. The Bretons on the left of the Norman line, they're looking shaky. They're not closing with the same vigour as the Normans in the centre. They might even be giving ground to the Saxon shield wall. The Saxon right pushing hard against their counterparts in the Norman left. This could prove problematic for William. I can see the Bretons on the Norman left. They are giving ground. They're retreating. They're breaking. The Norman left. The Bretons are fleeing. This could mean victory for the English. And the English right gives chase. They're breaking ranks. Good Lord, this could go one of two ways. This could mean victory for the English, or it could mean disaster. Look at this, William is throwing in his conroys to try and stem the tide of retreat. He's launched his conroys in another attack to try and stem the retreat of the Bretons, to avoid the collapse of his left flank. William himself must personally lead this attack.
Still running away. Yep.
But what's this? Reports are coming back from the battlefield that William is down. William the Conqueror is down.
unhorsed. During that mad, swirling melee, he led a personal charge, and he has been unhorsed. Has he been killed? I believe William is back on his horse. He has not been killed. But his army is thrown into confusion. Word spreads like wildfire. Has the Duke of Normandy been killed? He hasn't, but the army don't know that. They've taken fright. They're disheartened. If your leader is down, you must prove that you are still alive. Look, William is now galloping back up the hill to show himself, to prove that he is still alive, to prove to his army that he is not down, that he remains the conqueror that he will possibly be by the end of the day.
Look at me! See my face! I still live! Those English sons of hers can't kill me! Their sword arms are as weak as their king, but I am strong. We are strong, and together we shall go up that hill and slay the usurper Harold. I will lead you there. I am William, Duke of Normandy, but by nightfall I shall be William, King of England.
What is happening? Are they breaking? Can Norman knights truly be fleeing from foot soldiers? No, it must be a trick, a feigned retreat. Clearly William the Bastard is as cunning as he is cruel. But my brother Gurth will never be taken in by such a cheap and obvious ploy. Still, quickly, a messenger. Pass the word to my brother to hold his men back. He is not to advance. He is not to leave the shield wall. He is not to take the bait. Hurry! No, you fools! Hold! Hold! By all that is holy, stop them! My brave, foolhardy brother, what have you done? This may cost us the battle, even the kingdom it...
Indeed. King Harold's own brother, Gurth, who commands the English left, has indeed broken ranks, sending his infantry to chase the supposedly fleeing horsemen, but it was just a feigned retreat. They're now heavily engaged at the bottom of the hill. Massive, overwhelming weight of Norman numbers is crushing Brother Gurth and the English warriors of the left, dreadfully thinning out the ranks of the shield wall. They now have to extend their line to the left, thinning out that mass of warriors in order to try and fill the gaps. This is disaster for the Saxons. King Harold must rally his forces. He must redeploy. And in the face of this disaster, as the Normans hack down the final survivors of the pursuing English, King Harold must inspire his men. He must show them that there is still a possibility of victory here at Enraged, even without a third of his army that now lies dead and slaughtered after their impetuous charge down the hill. The final attack. Surely now the final attack. The Normans now outnumber the English. Their archers come forward once more, raining arrows down upon the denuded English forces. In a moment, the infantry and cavalry will be thrown in, and this time with the much thinned out shield wall, surely they cannot hold.
Well, that was stupid.
What's that?
Why didn't you just tell the troops to turn
The king is down! Surely not. Reports are coming back that an arrow has struck the king. Has William of Normandy seen it?
An arrow!
He's next to him.
He's hit! I saw him stagger!
My lord.
Godwinson! By the grace of God, Harold has been hit! I'm sure it was him. By the blood of Christ, my archers have earned their pay today.
If King Harold was indeed struck, then the arrow was truly guided by God, your grace, and we must give thanks to him.
Yes, there will be time enough for that to have to reward. Who brings me his head? Signal the advance. Throw every man we have into the assault. We'll finish this now!
And this is it. William, Duke of Normandy, senses victory is within his grasp. He has seen Harold fall, but as he said, maybe his armour protected him. His knights are now cutting down the huscarls around the prostrate body of the king, who lies stretched out upon the English turf. William has even captured the fighting man of Wessex banner. His knights have slain the king. The king of England is dead. And surely now the Saxon shield wall will collapse. Their king, their leader, their commander is down. Reinforcements will not arrive in time from London and from Yorkshire. The Norman knights on horseback press hard on both flanks. The shield wall is in danger of collapse. Ladies and gentlemen, a Norman victory is almost upon us. The shield wall. The shield wall faces two directions. The collapse is imminent. The Normans are in. The defensive position has failed. The tide line of Norman assault is washing up Senlac Hill, and the dead are left behind. This is disaster for Saxon England. The Saxons are trapped between forces behind, forces to the front, forces on either side, but they are dying to a man. Ladies and gentlemen, the end is indeed nigh. And of course, for the pious, this victory is down to God. And Bishop Odo now exhorts the Norman army to fall to its knees, to give thanks to God for this incredible victory, this victory of Norman arms. And as the Norman warriors fall to their knees to pray and give thanks for their deliverance and indeed their victory, the priests lift high the crucifix to show that the glory of God has been done for the Norman cause here on Senlac Ridge. With William, Duke of Normandy, let us hear you cheer, ladies and gentlemen, for your new overlord, William, Duke of Normandy, William, King of England, William the Conqueror.
So who did you play in the battle?
I was not sure.
Do you think you killed Harold? No, sure, might have been.
Certainly not. I don't know.
I am playing Philip de Beck, a Norman mercenary who's fighting with the military. Today I was in the center right. We were helping take on the Huscarls, and we got to kill the last of Harold's bodyguard.
Ah,
a lot of fun.
All right.
It's a little dangerous.
Well, I was just a foot soldier with a lance. Normandy.
I'm Saxon Huscarl for the king.
And what did you do in the battle?
Die.
Well, before you died.
Killed lots of Normans, with Danex, and then died gloriously over my king.
I was just in the infantry from the Normans.
All right.
We are on the right side with the every Franco-Flemish contingent.
And did you kill any Saxons?
Yes. That's our job.
And you say you're from Flemish?
Flemish, Franco-Flemish contingent, but we are from Germany, Belgium.
So which side were you guys on?
Saxon left, I was on, and Saxon right. Saxon right.
All right.
Died valiantly.
I just play one of the Saxon warriors. In particular, we're over from Ireland for the event.
Were you armoured?
No, I fight as is.
I see.
I stand behind men like this, with a big long stick like this.
Ah, I see.
And I stand behind you. He protects the likes of me.
I see.
There's no way I could afford something like this.
I see.
Maybe when I'm a full grey beard and I've had some more battles and some money behind me.
My name is Broder. I'm a Huscarl on the Saxons side. I commanded a unit in the centre, on the right end of the centre flank, between that and the right flank. And we just stood our ground and fought off the Normans when they came.
Would you say, did you die in the battle?
No, I actually managed to flee off the field. The 4 or 5 of us escaped, fought our way out, and made a run for it. So we're one of the few survivors of the battle.
What do you personally think of the Battle of Hastings?
Personally, I see it as a major pivotal point in English history. So it's always interesting to see how life has changed because of it. I mean, we have the introduction of the feudal system, the introduction of French words into our language, so that everything just kind of changes there. We have our own unique culture now. It's kind of neat.
It changed so much in the whole history, from the Breton time to the medieval time. So it's very interesting.
Yeah.
If we'd have waited another day or two, we'd have trumped them. If Harold and the Vikings up north, the 2 earls of Northumbria had waited for us to arrive, we wouldn't have taken so many casualties up there and had a bigger army to meet them here.
Great.
How important were the archers in the battle, do you think?
Yeah, we killed Harold.
Oh, okay.
As I know, yes.
So, the most important.
Oh, it's very good battle and tasting battle for history of England and France. And for me, it's a great honor make a battle in Hastings.
Yeah.
Changed history, changed legal system, changed all sorts. And William the Conqueror was not very nice in terms of decimated the north of England to get back at everybody else and stop any more incursions and resurrections.
It was a disaster for them. They made mistakes. That we fought the Norman army to a standstill for 9 hours. It was a very close run thing. I think William, in the end, the luck went with him.
Yeah.
Look about Hastings. I think it's really important because it's the most, it has the largest historical ramifications of any of the battles that we're involved in reenacting and explaining to the public. So it has ramifications for English history, for British history, for European history, and for the world history. And so it's absolutely key, and that's why the kind of date looms so large.
Let's hear it, whether you were cheering for the Normans, for the Saxons, it matters not. Our reenactors here today have given you hopefully some small flavour of the fighting, the bitter fighting that took place here